Ooh.
Hey, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. How y'all doing? Hey, this is Brother David Harold Dudley III, aka Sweet Sonny D, aka Baker, coming to you with my cohorts for another episode of Old Black Men Conversation. And you are?
I would be the real Cliff Barnes, just here to support my fellow host and get this show going on. And you, sir?
Hey, it's Luther Lyle, also known as Sweet Lou, Detroit Lou, the man with the plan to take us back to the sands. Just here to offer some common sense and take us from where we are to where we need to go.
Hello, you know me, I'm Gary, your personal street philosopher. The crew is kind of confused about my red suspenders. I live in Middle Tequila, and today is National Start Your Garden Day. So this is just what we wear when we're in the back. This is just what we wear when we're in the back. So don't be put off by it, because I also fix things and I know stuff. So bring it.
Ooh, there you go.
Ooh, say it.
Say that.
I have a question. And I don't mean to be put off by your red suspenders, but I know I have a hard time believing this Diddy shit. Is anybody else having a hard time with that? Do you believe what the hell is going on? Do you believe what they're saying?
Well, first of all, which day are we talking about?
Yeah.
The day that are on his side and defending him, or the day
All of
that are, what do you mean?
All of it.
You don't understand it?
All of it.
Which side?
All of it.
I can't understand how a person could, even have that much stuff drawn up, put up, that he did, and, that might be, I can't understand that, how a person could get into some of the things that they say he allegedly did.
There's so much to unravel.
Mm-hmm.
The ball is this big. We're only getting this much in sound bites every day
There
of
you
what's
go.
going on. What seems to be the most attractive, the most sensational. I believe some of it happened, but not always, not the way it did happen. I believe some people were in on it in the beginning, and then things didn't go right or whatever. So now it was a mess and all this. But I also believe a lot of it did happen, but maybe not to the detrimental, to the detriment of some of these people are saying.
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of people that are saying quite a lot of things that are self-supporting. They're supporting a person as something that they're supporting something that one of the other witnesses have said. So, it's our system that until a person is innocent until proven guilty. So they're in the process of trying to prove him guilty. Whether or not he did it, only him and the other people involved in it would know.
Do you believe what Cat Williams said he saw?
What did he say he saw?
I don't remember.
Without mentioning
remember
names, but with enough reference that you can figure out who it is, he said he opened up the door and saw this. Somebody's bodyguard said he opened up the bathroom doors. There were 5 people in there having a circle jerk. I mean, little stories like this where these people have nothing to gain by making it up, I don't believe.
Hey, you never know, because a lot of times people will make up stuff just to get back at a person.
Right.
A lot of that when you have these kids are sending nude pictures of a person, regardless of how they got the shots, they're putting it on the internet to other people that go to the school that they're attending,
Right.
just because.
Cyberbullying.
Yes, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Cyberbullying, just because this person wouldn't put out for this other person. The revenge is, well, fine, and we'll just start this. So, I mean, there's a lot of that going on, but the scale at which we're dealing, that the courts are dealing with is beyond my pay grade. I'm with you. I don't understand a lot of it my damn self.
I believe a lot of it has to do, no matter what arena you're in, if you're black and you're male, somebody's going to try to bring you down every damn time, right? Just, I heard something on the radio the other day, Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, God.
He was on a conservative station, and they were talking about whether or not he liked Shaq or not. He says, "No, I don't like Shaq." The announcer jumped in, "Oh, you don't? I don't like Shaq either." But what Stephen A. Smith had to point out is, my dislike for Shaq is just between me and Shaq. Shaq's done a lot of things for the league. Shaq's done a lot of things,
For the community.
for the community.
Exactly.
So, but that's the kind of thing this guy wanted to jump on. Oh, a black guy doesn't like Shaq? I don't either. So, yeah, I mean, we're always under attack. Always.
Well, the media. A lot of it is the media and how things are presented.
Yeah.
And what spin they want to put on it. And a lot of things that people say, they can take out of context and take these 4 or 5 words, and this is what this person said, not framing it with what the whole entire statement the person made.
Turn it down.
So, the thing is, the things that we hear in the media, from the media, you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt. Well, maybe not, because y'all have lied to us so many times before. It's not like the media has clean hands in anything that they report.
When I was in acting school,
But do we have clean hands?
nobody does.
Not if we are talking about it
Yeah.
and debating about it like the courts are doing, and like apparently they have. Is there a jury, or is it just a judge? Do they have they picked a jury? Is the jury listening at all this stuff that they're telling us they're hearing?
I think they have a jury, don't they?
They have a 24-person jury.
Okay,
I mean, only 12 are legal, but
right. They got a jury pool. They got a
20,
jury pool of 24.
24 folks
Okay.
are listening.
And where's the trial being held at?
In New York.
In New York.
So is it? So I mean,
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
but now my question is: are we still in pre-trial? Or,
No, they're in
or
the
has
real
the
trial.
trial started?
No, the trial started last week.
Okay, so the media, the stuff that the media is putting out is stuff that theoretically was said in this trial.
Sort of, kind of, because no cameras are being allowed
Exactly.
in federal. So the tape you're getting is from the various, like the Law and Crime channel, the Nancy Grace channel, the Buka Buka channel. All of these are their reporters are giving their take on what's happening. So if it says 1, 2, 3, one reporter might say 1, 2.
Who decides who the reporters are? I mean, it's like
It's the network.
It's the people that hired. It's CNN. It's CNBC.
Oh, it ain't open like
It's
Laura
Fox.
Martin or
It's
minority
the Law and
media
Order
companies.
channel.
No, what it
They're
is
just the reporters that are there.
correct.
I was wondering, are they invited specifically, and why not?
No.
Why they?
No, this is a New York State court. They only have so many seats, and they only have I don't know if they give out press credentials or what.
That's what I was asking.
But there are no cameras.
I understand that part. I was just wondering.
And-
so,
and
if
the
that being the
thing
case,
is-
then the perspective is going to be limited because if if the media allowed in to capture what's happening in the court proceedings doesn't represent any minorities or minority-owned companies, newspapers or blogs or whatever, then why should we trust any of it? Because
But the whole thing
I
is,
mean,
they
there's a thing
can't-
about journalism.
they can't
Sensationalism.
they can't say, well, I only want CNN, I only want Fox, I only want this. All these people apply for press credentials,
Oh.
and they do have the power to.
If that's what happened.
Yeah, they do, but they still retain the power to not honor this. Yeah, just deny these people's application and what have you. So I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on press-wise.
So that seems
So,
like both
you know-
parties are complicit in a limited amount of information being dispersed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you really can't have a failed trial if it's already out in the public.
Yeah.
So, I honestly don't know how this is going to go, but I see it dragging on. And
Well,
on,
the thing is, they had a story on Today, not the show, but I mean this current day about one of Diddy's assistants or whatever, and he's talking about how he had to clean up after all the parties.
Oh no, actually, this guy testified yesterday.
Well, I saw the story today.
Okay.
But anyway,
Yeah,
and his job was to clean up everything to protect Diddy's image.
He was an executive
Assistant.
aide or whatever. But it wasn't just to clean up; it was also to prepare and to get stuff and to make sure things are running smoothly. That's what they do.
And he actually said there was drugs and apparently mentioned baby oil and all this other shit. So I mean, now that's out in the public. How is the jury sequestered? Can they not hear any of this shit? I mean, a lot of things.
Did that evidence come into court?
He was testifying on the stand.
So the jury they
Not necessarily.
Not
necessarily. The jury doesn't get to hear everything.
Mm-hmm. And also, the jury can be instructed by the judge to disregard certain testimony.
Oh yeah, okay.
Whether they do or not is
That's hard
in
to
If
do.
you
their
bring a
own
witness
heads,
into
but-
court,
Yeah. Somebody tells you you didn't just hear that.
The jury.
What you just heard.
That's why you get the objections and.
No, but I mean psychologically in your brain,
You hear
you
it,
just heard something and you're told
and they say disregard it.
you didn't hear that.
Yeah. Or
that's what your brain-
I ask a question and the judge says that ain't a good question.
Right.
How do you disregard it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's very. I mean, my limited experience with the law and trials. I was on a jury one time. That pretty much doesn't qualify me to be an expert on this subject.
Yeah.
But I mean, the way they handled the case that I was on, that was a county situation, and it wasn't on the scale of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not even close. I mean, and then
Did you
and then
deliberate
what-
long, or did you, as a group, did you come together with consensus in a short period of time?
it's a few hours.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the thing was, what was going on, just to go on this little sidetrack, what was going on, this guy was already convicted of a bunch of stuff, and they was just piling on, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we talked about that, blah, 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 and then we decided, okay, he got enough shit on his plates. So, this other stuff ended up being thrown out.
Oh,
Didn't need it pretty much.
No, he was already.
Yeah.
This poor young man had the misfortune of hanging with the wrong crowd, and him and the crowd did some silly shit, and basically the cop was pulling them over because, like, you know, a broken tail light or some stupid shit, or a traffic stop.
I've been there.
And then these guys said, "Oh shit, vroom,"
I didn't do that.
and they ran right, and they ran. This whole thing happened between Auburn and Kent, and so what was happening? A pit maneuver and all kinds of crazy shit. But anyway, in the end, we decided no. He already got a list, like they pull out a scroll and shit.
Yeah.
He already had a list of stuff going on, so you know, and that was my position. You know, it's like, hey, you know, you already got him on this, and this. You know, why you know, because it was a nebulous charge that they were trying to add on to the shit that he already had.
Makes
Now,
sense.
back to the subject at hand.
So, question for you. Something you brought up last week. Y'all watched last week's episode to make this have relevance. You're on the jury. Somebody catches you on an off day and says, "Hey, David, I'll give you $50,000 if you give me some dirt." Would you take it? Would you respect the system enough to stay committed to a fair trial?
I don't respect the system. I'll put it like that.
You want to take
I don't respect the system.
Ditto.
As
Because-
as it is.
As it was, as it will be, I don't
Exactly.
respect the system.
So you would take the money.
I don't respect the system.
I don't respect the system.
Nah, man, I don't respect that answer. Nah, you dancing around it. Because if you're gonna stand on it, if you're gonna stand on it, stand on it. I agree with you.
Are you wearing tap shoes?
I say this. I agree with you. I don't believe in the system either. But aside from you really skirting the question, would you take the money or not? You said something interesting though. You said you don't believe in the system as it is or how it will be. That begs the question
how
that
it
we
will
talked
be, right.
about last week. Why even try if you don't even see
Yeah, that's
it getting better? Why even care? But that's just a side question. But now I want to hear, you gonna take the money or you?
I think it's a great transition into, you know, where we go
Yeah,
from here.
I'm going to take the money. And I'm going to take the money because I don't respect the system. The system has never respected me. And I can't foresee a time when the system is going to respect me.
There you go.
Okay.
And then here's the sideline. A lot of times, in cases like this that are really, you know, out there and over the top, they sequester the jury so that very thing can't happen. Nobody can get to them. They can't read papers. They can't. They're just in their hotel room under guard. Basically, they're prisoners. And then they get a night's sleep, and then they go back to court. Court starts again at 8, 10 in the morning, whenever. They're there, and then once the judge says, okay, we're going to recess until tomorrow, they march their little ass back up to wherever they got them sequestered, so that very thing you're talking about won't happen.
In theory.
In theory.
There's always a way.
And then also, they also want to keep people from jury tampering.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily paying you money, but saying, hey, if you don't do this, then this and this may happen to somebody you know, somebody you love, somebody you related to.
I think the verbiage to that is your cousin or your brother-in-law or your sister. You know, that's a really nice flower shop you own over there.
Exactly.
It'd be a shame if something happened to it. You know?
Sure, but that's what I'm saying. That to prevent that kind of stuff from happening in a case this big, I would think, now it's my opinion, that they wouldn't have the jury so
Sequestered,
easily
Accessible.
contacted and accessible. So,
I
but
kinda-
that's a good question, and I have to flip a coin on whether I take the money. But
Why did you take so long to answer? Because you knew you would take the money. Why didn't you just say, I would take the money?
Because it's none of your business.
Damn.
Well, that's the end of the show,
Well,
folks. We really got
no,
We're done.
We're done.
Y'all be well.
we're done here. No, here's the thing.
No, don't answer for me.
No, I'm not answering for you. I'm paralleling this. he did he asked that question many years ago to his younger brother, and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "None of your business." He said, "Well, of course it's my business. It's my freaking closet." And the answer was, "If it's your business, then you should know."
Yeah. You raise smart kids, you get shit like that. But so it's none of my business, but we're trying to be entertaining. We're trying to have a show.
Right, but that would be my response is, hey, this is my opinion, this is how I feel, fuck you.
There you go. It's done.
So then if I take the check and hold it up and start doing like that, would you say, no, I was just joking? If I say, fuck me one more time.
How would you get the check?
Unless you was the one making the offer.
Yo, just stop asking too many
And
questions.
then on top of that, if it's me dealing with it, wouldn't be no goddamn check.
Okay.
It's like cash. I need it deposited. I need it deposited in this account. I need it to be deposited in this account.
That's true. Yeah.
And I give you some numbers you deposit. And when I find out the deposit is made, then our business is finished.
All right, so let's substitute
Right?
cash
Exactly.
for a check.
So she has her
So I'm holding it up,
senior,
$50,000 in cash.
and so
And if I say, if you tell me none of your business one more time, I'm going to put my cash in my pocket and walk away. Would you tell me none of my business staring at the cash? I'll let you smell the cash.
Did you preface by saying this is your cash?
That's where the guys
Don't matter, none of your business.
So if it's your cash, you wouldn't give a
I-
damn. He ain't got it.
I-
So what? If it's his cash, you might want to come over here and beat your ass and take it.
I just want to know.
I got you.
Violence.
Yeah, violent.
Well, I just want to know
no, I don't think it like that.
why you thinking along those lines. Would you actually try to bribe a witness, or would you? Now we're gonna flip this all around.
Wow.
Would you try to bribe a witness?
That's a damn good question.
Yes.
And I don't even mean it way up at that level.
I'm talking about at any
At
level.
any level?
If
Yeah.
if you knew somebody that was in trouble that you was real tight with or
Loved one, family
whatever,
member.
and it's his second strike and this is about to be his third strike and then he gone.
What else I would do with the
You
$50,000?
know, okay.
Man, wait if I didn't try to use it to help.
Would you try to influence a jury member in that situation?
Who is this nigga to me?
Yes. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
It's
Yeah.
close. Then
Listen,
You know?
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna just give you the, I love thinking about what I would do if I was in this, but I am also a realist, and I'm like, listen, I've been to jail once. It sucked. I ain't been to prison. I've been to jail. And I don't want to go back, and I'm definitely not going back for your ass.
Serious.
Just because you are on strike 3, why do you keep going up to the plate to swing? Sit your ass down. Now, I'm not finna do a crime and potentially get caught up. No.
And be your cellmate?
No.
Fuck that.
No.
But anyway, the question was
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah, to answer your question,
Depending on, I mean,
yes, I would. I'm pretty sure I would. If it was my son that did a crime, and I'm not, maybe it's not a high profile crime or whatever,
Or your daughter?
would I try to influence somebody? I think I would, because I look at my son and I look at all the other white kids of his age who just got to walk away from shit. So I think I would, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me chime back
Go
in.
ahead.
Yes, if
Yes.
we're talking about our child,
that's what I'm saying.
it would really depend on what it was for me. Because dangerous people just be dangerous people. Okay? And you never know when that time bomb might go off. Now, I don't have kids, so I'm speaking from a distance here. But if I had like a violent, crazy time, get the fuck out. Go to jail, do what you need to do, because I need to make sure everything we built stays. And if you are going off the handle and about to ruin everything, for whatever reason, I'm like, I at this moment, I have no problem being like, yo, you are a criminal. You need to go where criminals go.
Yeah.
Because you're not being helpful to us out here.
You're not a good citizen.
But if it's petty shit, like,
You're not a good criminal.
I
You're a
would
good
try.
criminal. Yeah.
You know the white kid who essayed the girl behind the trash can, the college kid, and his dad went in and said he shouldn't have to go to jail for getting lucky for 5 minutes. Like that kid should have been in jail. His dad should have been. Something should have happened to him because his comment was, you can tell why the kid's out here essaying people. Like stuff like that. It's like if my child ever did that, I'd be like, bro, you got to. I don't know where you got that, but you can't be around here with that. You know. But for the minor stuff that other people may not even get a slap on the wrist for, if I have the ability to help, I will. But the serious stuff, you got a serious problem, and I don't know what to tell you.
Serious stuff
yeah,
is
but
serious stuff.
Yeah.
But it goes beyond just like health. Now you're actually putting both of y'all in even more jeopardy. Because if you get caught trying to influence a juror to change the, affect the outcome of the verdict, then you're putting both of y'all in jeopardy. Because if that person on the jury decides to just say, hey, this person came up and tried to offer me this.
For real, that's the thing. You never know who you talking to.
Right. That's what I'm saying is, I'm all in. It's like this is my baby. This is the fruit of my loins right here. This is my boy.
That's what he
Right?
said earlier. He said both
But
of
the
y'all go to
person,
jail.
but the juror you're talking to, you have to first of all make sure that you pick a juror that's corrupt enough
There you go.
to have an effect. Otherwise, all y'all going down.
Well, you don't reach in the bag. Juror
Well, no.
number 13.
No,
you,
it ain't.
And I say this.
Yeah, you play.
I say this, and again, we're speaking hypothetically, but when you talking about getting arrested and a crime happening, I don't think I'd have a particular problem trying to bribe or pay off a cop. But once you get up into the federal level, again, there's too many
But you
what
have-
ifs. I think.
You
I think you can find a corrupt. You can throw a rock and find a corrupt cop.
It has to be the right cop, because.
But see,
because-
even then, I don't. I think no, you're right. It does have to be the right cop, but I think you have more leeway talking to a cop than and they can decide whether it's like, yeah, I don't make enough, I want extra money, or no, I'm by the book. Yeah, there's that that problem that you might come up with, but I think that's less of a problem than going to a random juror. You don't know. I mean, you don't know the cop either, but whatever they got going on in their life, and they might be a Puritan. And you just like, they look like a shady person, and you go blow the whole plan up.
But if you got enough money, you can vet that person. I mean, you can do the research and find out where the weakest link is, et cetera. But if you don't have that kind of money, and you just have to say, oh, well, this guy seems to be the weak link.
No, you got to do your research.
You know.
We used to tell our kids, don't just commit crimes, think your crimes through. You don't deliver it yourself. Hey, man, hey, look, bring this across the street.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
You know, that kind of
But
thing.
I'm saying, there's too many loose ends out there flapping around for me to try to do something like that unless I knew for sure that it would work.
I was thinking
But you
more
never
lower
know for
level,
sure.
misdemeanor level. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, no.
Like CJ said, if my kids are running around committing, which means I don't really want you near me.
I'm here.
If I feel that way about my kids,
If you're one of the few black serial killers in history, I don't want you around my ass neither.
not in my community, no.
Shit, no. But no, I mean that's
That's just real talk.
that's an interesting hypothetical thing, because there's a lot of people that have actually tried that and they all went to jail. And then when you talk about try it with a cop, that fucker would probably take it and then figure out a way to frame your ass and keep him out of it.
Don't be connected with the money. Don't be a part of the money trail. You catch a cop
Man.
out there behind in his mortgage and he's got a second mortgage and shit.
That's some good research. That's what I'm talking
You do your research on the cop.
That's what I'm saying.
Now that might be some skill.
You have to do the same thing. You have to do the same thing
Do your research,
that they did, or that they do at different companies.
Yeah.
They vet your ass and
Yeah,
find out everything.
They
you
vet
know?
jury pools to instruct the
man.
defense and
Shit.
the prosecuting attorney as to which juries they can work with the case
Man,
and understand. and stuff
I had
like
to
that.
go
So-
through the background check from the NFL and shit when I was working at the stadium. Everybody there.
Well, I understand that, man.
All of
You're a
these
shady
guys.
guy. You got a shady past. I know you, man.
No, man, but the thing is,
Aren't you
man.
guys frat brothers?
But no, man. But
You just said shady.
But the thing is, but the thing is, 38 arrests, no convictions.
Amen. Amen.
There you go.
Amen. Well, you got me beat.
And,
I'm
it's not crazy, but there are people that are like that have multiple arrests, no convictions.
Cliff, thank you for sharing that, man. That, I learned some things about that. Got some,
That's
some
right.
notes going on.
That's
I wanted
right.
to transition into a conversation that Brother Dudley said earlier about not respecting the system. And I recall as I was growing up, my teenage years and older, it was like people would say, well, you can't fight the system. You got to work and navigate within the system. So you had organizations, NAACP and Urban League and, you know, the National Action Networks and other activist groups that were pushing for legislation, pushing to defend certain constitutional rights and stuff like that in courts. So they're operating on several levels. And so I believe that you can not respect the system, yet understand the game. And the game is, first of all, we want to survive, protect our families, stuff like that, but try to help as many people as possible as far as group mobility to understand, educate what the game is being played on us, and not just say, well, if I'm not voting, then it ain't gonna happen, or if it doesn't happen through the courts, it's not happening. We have economic leverage that we can use and should be using more and more. So respecting the system is one thing. Understanding the system is equally as important, because if you understand the system, you understand the game.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to be educated enough to understand the system and be ready when them fuckers change the rules. So if you're not educated enough to keep track of that, then you're ineffective.
That's true. That's true.
You know, but I mean, we took to the streets. We,
Yeah, I got
you
confidence.
know,
We
locked
did it
stuff
before.
down, took over administration buildings and offices and shit. Went to jail and all kind of shit. We had, you know, legal systems all set up so that when we did, if we did go to jail, you know, we had
Yeah, that was it.
law officers that would, you know.
I think the
And then there was
NAACP
a fund for bail and whatever ever. But the thing is, we made small changes,
Yeah.
and we I don't know, we did what we could in the way we thought it
With
should
the
be done.
resources we had, yeah.
And with the resources we had. So the thing is, you know, it's not about changing the system, fighting the system. You know, you have to be able to identify the system, and that shit keeps changing from time to time to time to time. So you just have to stay educated enough and stay on top of it to see, well, this used to be like this, now it's like this.
I think that's a great
When they're-
definition of the
you know.
word woke.
Woke, I don't know what, I never did understand that bullshit. Woke, what these people are woke, and you know what woke is?
What?
I don't know. That was the question. Do you know? I don't know for sure. Because I've heard so many people say so many different things about it. So,
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think it's important enough to even pontificate on.
I know, I'm not,
I disagree on that one.
I'm
But
not sure,
where we at
I'm
with
not
woke,
sure
Mr.
the
Zuckerberg? What's up?
I'm not sure
Yeah.
the definition of woke.
No, but let's just take
But
the
I
word
am
for
sure,
itself.
I am sure the definition of, I want to know about, as much about as I can, that there is
Okay.
to know.
To me, woke is it's maybe it's ebonic, but wake up, right? Be like what you guys are saying. Educate yourself. Find out about stuff. Every day while we're sitting here, they're trying to pass stupid ass legislations 24/7, and
Oh.
it takes energy to keep up with them, and it takes money also. I mean, you can have all the energy you want, but if you don't have the money, you can't purchase resources to fight back. But to answer your question, woke to me means, okay, I'm aware. I'm starting to figure out what's going on now, and I don't want to do the same thing again. So I'm ready to think about doing something differently. That's what it means to me.
I tend to agree because it is about awareness. And when I said earlier about, it's a game, the system is a game. However, the requirement is to understand it's a game and still navigate around it. Or as the logo is, born hustler. If you ain't hustling, then you're getting hustled. You just simply that's the way the game is set up. And so it can be navigated not just from one basket, not just legislatively. It can be navigated in others. And we're at a point now where black folks, I'm talking about group mobility here, is our leverage is our purchasing power. Has been for the longest. Should have been really smoking down the road since 1955 when the Montgomery bus boycott began. That was an exercise in purchasing power and our economic leverage. And we hadn't seen anything like that since Tulsa. I know there's some other places, Wilmington and other places that were like Tulsa, but Tulsa was off the chain. They was hitting it, but that was 1921. And then what I was just saying, this 1955, that's a difference of what, 25 years, 30 years.
They was trying to just eliminate all opposition to their views and their wishes.
Well,
I mean, they the dogs and fire hoses and all of that stuff that was going on, they were trying to just eliminate completely any opposition to their views, to their segregation.
Right.
and
You know,
also the slavery thing. They are still pissed about having to give up slavery because all through history, it's been like, okay, come over here. I have to be near you to do this work because my lazy ass white people won't do this work. So I have to go get you to do this work. Then once you have the right to be free now, I don't need you anymore. I don't want to be around you. So then when we try to have our own, like your family did, we try to have our own, they come in and burn the shit up. We're minding our own business trying to have our own. And then, so we got to live somewhere, eat somewhere. So there's this yo-yo thing. If they would just leave us alone, if they want us to be away from us,
point of order.
yeah.
When have they not needed us?
Well, yeah, that's kind of,
we have so much stuff that we have come up with that they have stolen and taken credit for.
What is
So
that?
when did they not need us?
Exactly.
Once
So-
they brought us over here, the work to be done didn't go away. When the slaves went away, they still had tobacco fields and cotton fields and whatever the hell else.
So here we are in 2025, and I was saying earlier is that now our currency is not just our labor. Our currency is our purchasing power, and you can do that at home. It doesn't have to be a brick and mortar situation anymore. You don't have to worry about them burning it down because it can be electronically put into your own institution.
Here's a point. We don't have credit. So we buy a whole lot of stuff and we keep cash flowing.
but not within our own communities.
Regardless
It
to
passes
where,
out.
regardless to where, that cash would not be moving from here to here to here to here. If it was, if I could just go and then pay it later. We don't have that. We don't have credit. There's a whole lot of black people who are much worse off than us, me, that don't have credit. So the country's floating on plastic. So that's another thing that they can use to.
That's another element
No.
of their game.
Right.
And one of the things that our community can use is we can start our own financial institutions.
Crazy.
Credit union.
Yeah.
Do you know
Big.
that? Like I say,
Oh, way past needed. That's why my point is, since 1955, that should have been, to me, the natural progression. Start putting our money back into our own institutions like they did 30 years earlier in Tulsa. But it didn't happen. They got sidetracked into, it's got to be able to eat on the lunch counter with this person, or sit next to in the school next to Sally. Sitting next to Sally ain't gonna make you smart. Just because you sit at a lunch counter don't mean you can afford a hamburger. But when we had our own institutions and our own stores, there's no legislation against that.
yeah, but the whole thing is
So we can do both.
there was no there was plenty of legislation here and there, but that didn't stop them from destroying our shit.
Yeah, they
Huh?
did. They didn't destroy everything.
No, I didn't
Nobody said
say
everything.
Because the idea is still there.
But
I mean,
what
it's-
I'm saying
now
is,
who's to-
the idea is there. But what I'm saying is, when we was sitting there and all of a sudden you gets off a light outside and you open the damn curtain, there's a fucking cross burning.
Ta-da.
And then, if that don't work, they actually burn your the things on your property and shit, and they get away with it.
They are doing that today, though.
Okay.
No, not to the degree that they were doing it in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Why do you think they've changed?
They haven't changed.
They're doing it in a different way.
They're just
Yeah.
doing it a different way, right? That's it. There's no crosses out there, so we don't have to. They don't have to see us walk down the street with our purse and our money in our hands, because electronically it's going where we want it to go. Our Social Security is going where we want it to deposit. Our retirement's going where we want it to deposit. They don't have a law against how we want to invest in
I
our
have no
money.
control over my.
They can
over my
redline a
pension.
physical district, a physical area, and whatnot, so you can't accumulate wealth that way. But you can accumulate wealth other ways by investing in yourselves.
Well, today there's millions of ways. That's the thing. That's something we didn't have. The amount of things that we could make money at. There's so many more different things now that are available.
Sure.
And the thing is, we're not taking advantage of it to the point, to the extent that it can, move. I don't know, a movement, or move
Yes,
forward, or
right,
whatever.
right.
And then there's nowhere where we are, and we won't let them in.
Yeah.
Where is that? That was Tulsa.
Yeah.
That was okay. You got this area here, whatever. So they built it, and they, prospered. And then nope.
You know what's missing
You
from
can
that
have that.
historical reference about Tulsa? They were definitely self-sufficient. Bus service,
course.
doctors, stores, all the professions and whatnot. But I don't recall hearing that they had a police force to protect them. Huey Newton say, hey, man, we know what the law is, and we're going to protect ourselves. We ain't going to be under this police brutality unless you want to get fired up. But I don't recall that was the case in Tulsa.
If you got a police force of 10, and then coming down the dirt road, there's 100 sheets with burning crosses and the police. The numbers are against you anyway. I don't want to get hung up on
Math? No, I don't have to take off my socks and shoes. I realize that's a great number than 10, if that was the case. I'm just saying that I ain't giving. We're talking about Second Amendment rights. If you come on my property, I don't care if it's one of you or 20 of you. And I ain't got but 6 rounds. 6 people losing their life.
Well, that's fine.
So-
a lot of that's
It don't
that's the
matter.
attitude of a
I
lot
don't
of
mind.
people.
They don't matter.
That's the attitude. A lot of folks have throughout history have said, "Fuck it, I may be going, but I'm taking some people with me."
Yeah.
But that still ain't.
Don't ain't supposed to die natural death.
But in the overall picture, that really didn't mean as much to the rest of the world as it did to you.
So I need to ask this again because I still don't know. Who is the we? And the reason I'm asking that, I saw some numbers. You guys fact check me. 2 million black people voted for Despicable, and 2 million of those that voted. So who is the we?
There has to be more than that.
You got some personal friends that you know?
Just because I wear red suspenders,
No,
I'm
there-
categorized.
there-
There that you live, you might have overheard a conversation
There
at the gas
was more.
station.
No,
there
because
had
the
to have
feed
been
store-
more than two. Than did you say 200? How many?
2 million.
2 million.
Yeah.
That's.
You think that's a real number?
That's nothing.
That's, even if
If
it is,
you
that ain't a
look-
lot.
If you-
I personally know of 3 family members.
That's 3 more than me.
And how many in each family? Because we got to take the numbers.
No, but 2
I would
million.
bet that there's some
But,
people that I
but
know.
listen.
Yeah.
You have what? 200 or 100 million voters. How many? 180 million voters in an election, and that 2 million shrinks to nothing. So it had to be more than 2 million that voted for.
That's scary.
Yes,
Maybe
it
that's
is.
scary to me.
Scary to me.
Why is that scary? Because if you really think about it, if you really, really know your history, then you know that these assholes that are called Democrats today, back at the turn of the century, they were called something else.
Who was the asshole?
Dixiecrat.
Dixiecrats.
So,
yeah.
so you follow the policy, not the party, because they've changed.
Right.
These ain't the same.
Right,
They always
right,
want
right.
to say,
So,
well, we're the,
so why?
we're the Lincoln
so-
Republicans. Yeah, but what he was talking about, that's totally different than what you guys are doing today. So you talking about relating to them? Freddie Douglass was a Republican because that was the party at the time whose
Well,
policies
but
were
the
more
thing
beneficial
is,
to black folks.
but the thing is, the things that people did spoke loud, a lot louder than the fact that I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican or I'm a Moose Party or I'm a independent. That don't mean shit. It's what you do.
Amen.
Yeah.
So,
So that's
you
why,
know.
that's why I think people have switched parties. You know, if you guys say, well,
As far as I'm,
I'm
far
following
as I'm
policy.
concerned, there was never no two-party system anyway. It was just the powers that be and the powers that ain't got. You know, haves versus have-nots. I don't remember because in 1956, 56, I was 6 years old.
I was 5.
Okay, and every house you went into, practically every house had "I like Ike" buttons
I saw one of those. Yeah.
in the house
Yeah.
because they were supposedly Republicans.
Hey, winning the
Right?
Second World War was
Then-
a big deal.
Then in
Seriously.
then
That
in
was a big deal.
1960,
Being on the winning
when
side of that
Kennedy
war, Jack.
he got a lot more of the black vote swinging that way.
Yeah.
And then he got a good portion of the white vote because he got a Dixiecrat to be his running mate.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, shit. Where's? I don't see no difference. I'm never like, oh, I'm a Democrat. I'm shit. I'm who I am, and I vote the way I want to.
It depends on where you are in history because you're absolutely correct. We've always been whoever needs us will court us. But what pisses me off, it's always been, yeah, vote for me, get me in there. We're going to get them out. They're doing you wrong, whatever. Okay, what are you going to do for me when I get in there? I'll take care of you, but get me in there first. Vote for me first. Then when it's time to do for me, man, get rid-
So you said time
that's how the money.
they're due.
It's
But
both parties.
what that means in what I'm hearing when I hear that from them, I'm hearing, oh, I'm just gonna find another way to fuck you over.
or
I've
to allow
seen-
you to be fucked over.
I've seen it time and time and time, and I've lived it. I've been a part of it. You know,
Yeah.
That's the thing
I
with,
was,
with
I was,
Democrats too, man. They said, well, you know, it wasn't our policies that fucked you over. Yeah, but it was your complacency that allowed it to be fucked over.
sure.
So you was witnessing the same thing I was experiencing. It wouldn't bother you. It was fucking with us.
Democrats, for me, they're the lesser of two evils, and that's
Nah.
all they are. Because the money is all green at the top. They're all, like you say, the horses are drinking from one money trough.
Yeah.
So,
So they taking the money. So you're 25,000, whatever, you know, to bribe the jury. I mean, it's a risk, but you know.
no, but it's the way it's always been.
So where do we go from here?
It's the
That's the way
haves,
it's always been.
it's the
Where
haves
do we go
versus
from
the
there?
have-nots. It's the way it's always been.
yeah.
We're a capitalist society. In order for a capitalist society to progress as a capitalist society, a certain segment of the population of the society has to fail. Now the thing
Yeah,
is,
that's the only way it can work.
that's the only way it can work. So it's the haves versus have-nots. People talking about, well, tax the rich. We're just going to put tax on the billionaires. And who do they leave it up to? Oh, I don't know, the 535 billionaires that's in the goddamn Congress.
Yeah.
I mean, most of them guys are rich.
Yeah.
And some of them are super fucking rich.
We can't
So,
afford to have lawless.
They're not gonna sit there and tax themselves.
So what can you do? That's a legislative element to be acted by. But
Right.
there's other elements that can not only save us, but move the movement in a positive direction.
The problem is, you have a lot of people who have a lot of wealth that are just out for themselves and it's them and theirs.
Greed.
You know, so it's not about, well, you know, you have some people that, well, I can do this, you know, philanthropy, that, and blah, blah, blah. That's fine. But in the meantime, you have a lot of people that, you know, ain't got a pot to piss in damn near, and there ain't no way they got a window to throw it out of.
Shit, there's some that have to drink their own piss because they can't afford clear water.
Please.
I mean, that's we're the richest country. Is when billionaires are so bored, they're arguing about who gets this part of space to launch their satellites.
Of course.
But mothers can't feed their families. You can't get health insurance. There's-
And then the
there's
thing
something
is,
wrong.
and then
Very
the thing is, we instead of you know, like if you're gonna spread the wealth. But it's like, no, we have this country over here, and this country over here, and this country over here, and right down here at your fucking feet is your fellow countrymen, and they ain't got shit. That's the way it goes.
Build a bigger wall so I don't have to see it. I mean, that's pretty much what they do.
If you're insulated and isolated from the bullshit, you have a tendency not to care about it.
So what do you think about this? This administration has done everything they can to get rid of brown people, black people, whatever. And for a reason I can't understand, this guy has doctored up something to bring in white farmers. Okay, wait.
It's
South
because
Africa,
it's
South
not
Africa.
the Third Reich, as in Nazi Germany. It's the Fourth Reich.
No, I haven't asked my question yet.
Well, that's the answer.
Okay. Keep your stupid ass question to yourself. Okay, Han?
Guess he told you, right?
I told you.
Oh, that's fucked up too, because you're left-handed. Because you're left-handed. Yeah, that's fucked up. Your left hand turned against you. God
Mr.
damn.
Han, what? Can I ask the question now? Ask David. Can I ask my question, motherfucker? so,
So,
yeah,
David,
so
David.
could they
What do
been
you-
brought in to do the work for the people he's displaced?
No,
Okay.
and on top
we're
of,
the ones that are going to do that work.
and on top of that, they all come in and they get housing and they hooking them up for some kind of fucking revenue raising situation.
Yeah.
Give them some kind of job or whatever and shit. You know, so I mean, the thing is, okay, we're kicking out brown people and people of color, and we importing white people. Like there ain't enough of them motherfuckers here.
They jumped to the head of the line, too.
Yes. You know, I
They
mean,
did it the
come
right
on.
way. They didn't have to swim
You ain't got to
across
import the
river.
motherfuckers. You got to
Well, the one good thing about this is that probably 80% of those brown and yellow people that think they're white are going to realize that they're not.
Oh boy.
Oh, they got woke.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, they got woke.
Somebody
They
came in and
jumped the line.
Ooh,
on
yeah,
it.
jumped the- hey, pardon me, did you leave a wake-up call for
Ooh.
2025?
Ooh, they got woke.
Shit,
Should've been
come
woke.
on.
So how you feel now, nigga?
You know, as far as I'm
New
concerned,
niggas.
I've been woke.
So,
Shit,
and
I grew up in a different environment than I ended up in.
even some Latinos had told them, you want to be white?
Please.
Okay. Now they came back. Now you see, no matter how much you try, you're not white. No, so they come back crying.
Send them to a
And
foreign
then,
country
and,
and say,
and then,
"Oops, sorry."
and then they're exporting people to places they ain't from.
Deported. Yeah, right. Well, is it a transactional thing? Yeah, it's transaction. So what is his administration getting in return for?
Who knows? That motherfucker probably getting mineral rights. Who knows?
No, you got the Air
Any
Force.
number of things.
Yeah.
None of these motherfuckers talk about. Well,
It's supposed to be the end of the world when you think about it.
We're gonna let them keep the 747,
Yes.
and we work it to
Air Force.
and we work it to Air Force One.
But only him.
But I'm going. Wait a minute. Yeah, once
They could have got my 62
Yeah.
year
No.
special for nothing, man. But
no, once they're
Don't
done.
retrofit that.
Once he's done, they're gonna donate the plane to his library, because you know every president has to have a library after they get done. But I'm going, you motherfuckers so
How the
crazy.
hell is the plane going to fit in the library?
Well, right outside.
Duct tape.
Just break it apart. Just
Do
duct tape
anything
it
with
back
duct
together
tape.
once you get it in the auditorium.
It's hanging out. Yeah.
No, it's
It
gonna
ain't
be.
going
It's
nowhere.
gonna
But
be
I'm
right
thinking if,
outside.
if this was given to the Air Force,
No, it was given. It was given to the Defense Department.
the
Wasn't
defense,
it? I don't know.
to
Well,
Department of
okay.
Air Force. So
In actuality, it was the Qatar dude gave it to the maniac.
and he gave it to the Air Force, and so the Air
Well,
Force
no,
agreed
the Air-
to accept it.
The Air Force, has to take the fucker completely apart and get all the bugs and cameras and everything else out
My
of it.
question about the
Maybe
airplane
they'll
is
miss
this,
one or two.
is that if it's the Air Force or the
Department of Defense.
Department of Defense, DOD, the head of either one of those areas is the President of the United States. And so as the President changes, he can dictate that, no, we don't want this.
That plane is
Or-
going
or-
with him. It's just like
but
Harry
but
Truman
But the
plane.
money to retrofit it, if you get a new president,
That's all.
you cut off that funding like this guy. You just
all
write an
this
executive order.
retrofitting and shit happens before they got 3 years to do that.
Not if they
What-
get a different administration in 2026.
You can't have a different administration in
Different
2026.
representatives. They could take over the House. They could take over the
Oh
Senate.
well, they
and
could
They could block
like-
the funding.
and then he could write an executive order,
block the funding.
like he's done the first 100 days. He did about 1,000 goddamn executive orders, and they all they can do is tie them up in court or follow them. That's all. That's
Because they can't block the funding now because he controls both houses. And so I'm saying in the midterm elections, you get enough folks in there to change the equation so you can block the funding. And then
Right, but the thing
you want
is,
this airplane, but you use your money to fix it.
no, he got Elon and all them motherfuckers in his pocket. He don't need that. He don't need funding from the government.
What do you think about that black guy who's a general? I think he's in the Marines or something, 3 or 4 star general, and they're using him as a mouthpiece to downgrade this brother named Ibrahim Traore, I think is of Bukaro, what's his name? Something, Burkina Faso. There we go. And he said, hey man,
Possibly,
you
yeah.
kicked the French out. And he said, oh, we're gonna make an example out of you, man. And they sending this boy like Colin Powell was sent to, to say, hey, they got weapons of mass destruction. Let's kill this brown dude. Now they're using this guy to say, hey, let's kill this African dude. And so you should check it out on the web, man. That brother, he came back. He's about 38 years old. He's a captain. He ain't even elevated himself to general enough. He said, nope, I'm captain.
Oh, the guy who was running that government.
Yeah, he's the president of.
Oh, wow. Well, the thing about it is, it's like you do what you got to do, right? And if your mind tells you that you're doing the right thing by letting them use me and puppet me, I'm doing the right thing for my lifestyle or for my existence, then that's, you can't explain a lot of that shit. Some people do anything for money.
Professional soldiers are trained to follow orders.
Yeah, but it's too bad. That's a black man coming against another black man. That's really tough. And that young man called him out on that, man.
It doesn't matter, because the thing is, either he does what they say do, or he won't be in the position he's in.
That's true.
So now he has to make that decision. Like I say,
Right. I think it's a good thing for us to be aware that we see that
I
happen
don't think
again.
they put a gun to his head and said, "You better go over and do this."
You're talking about the general, the U.S. general?
Yeah, he
But
did it because he was
Soldier following orders.
following orders,
That's
or
what I'm
he
saying.
just did it because he thought it was the right thing to do. There's no telling. The color of a person's skin does not indicate
Damn.
which way he gonna go
That's
in
true.
any given
Well, let me just-
situation.
all right, I got you. All skin folk and kinfolk. I got you. And you judge him by his behavior and action. So I was
Actions.
pointing to his behavior, and
Right.
it's obvious that he's a black man and this African man calling him out, a younger man, telling him about what's going on. He did the history lesson on him,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not about I'm against this black man, against this black man. I'm saying that being awoke is seeing how this black man in a U.S. Army uniform, this general, is being used by this commander-in-chief, which is this idiot you're talking about with fucked up hair and orange and all that, and then policies, to do the same thing that history has seen, where people have been used before to start a war and commit genocide against some folks. It's happening in Gaza right now. But Patrice Lumumba, he was democratically elected.
If you're a general in the United States Army, you know the game, and you've worked hard to get to be a general. Because you
If you want to stay a general,
Then you may have to sell your soul or sell your dignity,
or but
integrity.
he might believe in it. See, that's the other thing, is he might believe we can't do anything about that. So I have a question: which is worse, mostly for you, a person who doesn't vote or a black MAGA
Person who doesn't vote.
is worse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Black mega is okay.
at least they're
Because-
voting.
because-
At least they have a
because
voice. They
because
Yeah.
they have an opinion and they're exercising their opinion. It doesn't have to be my opinion. It doesn't have to be your opinion.
but at least they voted.
So you're respecting the process, the voting process. It doesn't matter whose opinion it is. It's just the fact that they followed through the process to vote.
That people participate. The thing about it is, you can be like and say, "Oh no, the election was rigged," or blah blah blah, but you can't prove it per se, whatever. And the fact is, there was an election that could or could not have been. But the whole point is the process is still available to most Americans. Personally, I can't see how the commander-in-chief is even in office, seeing as how a lot of convicted felons cannot even fucking vote. And there's
He's white, damn it. Let's get past all this shit. He's white.
Make America great again?
no, make attorneys get attorneys.
It's America white again.
There's America white again. That's what that means.
When was it ever anything else?
No, but he had the courage to come out and say it.
That's true.
So
I mean, you know, but that
Courage.
don't mean, I don't care
White
what he
courage.
does. There's no way I will ever respect him. So it doesn't matter.
I don't respect him as a human being.
I have not been respecting him or liking him
No,
long before there was any kind of presidential anything.
no. It
So-
has nothing to do with
Yeah, this ain't
politics.
No,
As a human being, I just don't.
I know.
Well, I personally don't know him, and I will not stoop. To me, it's stooping to say I don't respect, I don't like because I don't know him. I know you.
However,
I know you.
you know his behavior, you know his policies, you know
No,
the
but
impacts.
I
Of,
don't.
I know the impact
Right.
some of his opinions or maybe policies have.
maybe policies.
Maybe, because how do I know? Why would I think he is that much different from Obama or Roosevelt
Hey,
or
You judge a
Kennedy
fruit
or
by
who
its, you
else?
judge a tree by its fruit, and so he has demonstrated that he will cut the safety nets on every program.
But
that
that
has.
doesn't mean those
That
other
impacts us.
that doesn't mean those other ones wouldn't have done it too.
That's right.
I agree.
mean,
and so,
I mean,
like
the
you said, like the lesser of two
The whole
evils.
the whole point
You know,
is
you got a net or no net.
the whole point
I'm gonna take
is
the net. I don't care how many holes is in it. I'm gonna take the net.
the whole point is I don't know him like he said. I don't know him personally, but I've seen a lot of the things that he's done that have affected a lot of people that was, you know, taking care of their business, living their lives. And he was the cause of a lot of heartbreak and a lot of goddamn people getting fucked over.
Yeah.
So his actions, his the way he did things, I never cared for. Now, I don't really give a fuck about him. I don't care whether I don't care who it is, because the thing is, I don't know. Like you say, if another motherfucker was in there, wouldn't have done the shit the exact same way.
But that didn't happen, so we won't know. But we
Right.
know what is happening.
And
What
I
did happen
don't
with
like,
this guy.
and I didn't care for a lot of things that he's done. Plain and simple. My opinion, my
President
take on it. I don't give a
Obama
shit.
did some stuff.
So where do
wish
we
he
go
did
from here? We've
differently.
seen this behavior, and we don't like him personally. However, his policies are impacting us for the next 3.5 years. Where do we
Shit,
go
more
from
than
here?
that.
Where do we go from here?
It's only it's one or two things. Take it slow and keep going like it's going, and maybe someday, maybe things will change for the better for people of color.
Or people
Or
everywhere.
Or
Shit.
the revolution will not be televised. Take to the
Yeah.
streets literally
right.
and
And take-
revolutionize
and take
everything.
over the
You
TV
can't,
Literally.
take, you can't take a chance of just what we're gonna march on this day unless you want to just get shot. But there's ways that you can start tearing this sucker down consistently. Everything ain't got to be about brick and mortar.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, you know, first of all, you have to be educated enough to know what to do, and you also have to have enough people that think like you in order to pull it off. So that's a start.
And stay committed.
I think history
because it's a long
shows.
process.
I think history shows that real change occurs with a small group of people and not a large group of
Exactly.
people. If you got too many people involved, the shit ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Which may be where we're at now.
Yeah. Well, you know, hey, just like
I'd say there's different roles for different folks. Everybody, you know, it could be a committed small group that spearheads it. That go on. I mean, W. Du Bois calls it talented 10th. Put it together and do whatever. At the same time, there's always some work to do. There's purchasing power.
Yeah,
and what
role
you wanna do
players.
with it. And all of those
And you have
roles
to have
are
people-
part of the
and you have to have
policy.
people that are satisfied
Of
with
the
the role
resistance.
that they have.
Well, if they don't, they'll fall by the wayside,
Exactly.
like things that's been happening already.
Casualties. So you gotta know, man. You know, everybody ain't gonna make it through the war unscathed.
Well, what does that mean?
That means that there's a sacrifice there, and you know, you got a choice. You can say, nope, I don't want to be a part of the game. It's fun.
But look at what's happening.
Or you can dig that ditch because that's your role.
Okay, so let's back up a step. Here's kind of where you and I disagree. I start with organization and then education. The reason I start with organization is what is our plan of attack and how are we going to implement it? We need to know that so everybody knows their role, what they're supposed to be doing. And then it's handing out the education.
Well, that is
You kinda-
education.
I know, but we just have different way
I
of
accept that
organizing.
that
But you
sequence.
can't.
That
But
works
you
for me.
can't organize people unless you educate them to what you're organizing them for
Well,
and to do.
The plan. What is the plan?
Yes. So the education is there. The organization, hand in hand. You
Right, but
can't-
something has to be start first.
You can. And I'm saying this because I have worked as a community organizer.
Sure.
And it started with an idea to do something, pick a date, pick a space, let's get this together. What's going to be the content of this thing? Well, it's going to have some educational materials. So we're going to organize an opportunity
Yeah.
to invite folks to be educated by the messages that are shared and by the material that's being presented. And so that's how you do both at the same time. We talked about it earlier.
Sure.
Both of those at the same time. It's organized, and like you said, about what direction we're going from here. So after you've done that, let them know that, hey, you're a part of a plan that's going from A to B. That's who we're
But see, a
and
lot
proactive.
of shit has changed between when we were involved more as younger people than there are now. The younger people now have way more weapons than they realize they have. And when you have computers, and you have networks that have already, they've already shown they have ransomware. Well, if you don't pay us, we ain't gonna let you do business.
Right. Oh, that's a
They
powerful
had-
weapon there, man.
That's right. And there have also been times where certain parts of the defense system have been hacked. So you have all this stuff at your disposal, but they're not doing it necessarily for the right reason or for the same reason.
Then you get the guy with the wealthiest man in the whole world, and you give him access to everybody's data.
Right.
Wait a minute, man. What's wrong with that picture? We can't have
I
that.
remember
You talking
when-
about hacks?
I remember when the internet was new, or right before the internet, and this guy hacked into, well, I guess at that time it was Bell Communications and AT&T, and they found him. What did they do to him? Gave him a goddamn job to make sure nobody else
Else
does
can do
what
it,
he
yeah.
did.
Sure. Right.
So, but that's how anything somebody makes, there's always somebody out there that can counteract it.
Yeah.
Because the information is everywhere.
Before we go, I wanted to. I'm not the host, but I just wanted to share this here. And our one of our main hosts, Dave Dudley, is not here right now. However, I did want to share that I am permanently relocating to DC, and this will be my last participation in broadcast here.
All
And
right.
It's been a pleasure. I really enjoy the conversations, the dialogue when we have some topics that I enjoy, like where we go from here. And
That creates some ideas and some thoughts.
I enjoy being with the street philosopher Gary Green. You know,
The real.
the real Cliff Barnes. Seriously, I knew him when he was real because he's always been real.
Just be true.
And
Okay.
my friend Dave Dudley, been knowing his brother a while, playing football, tackle, no pads. I swear I was 118 pounds when I graduated from high school. Okay. It's been a pleasure. It's been,
Yeah, but
it's
you
been a
learn to
pleasure.
take a hit and give a lick. But yeah, we're gonna miss you, as we did the last time you went to the Midwest. Now you're going all the way,
All the way, yeah.
all the way to the East Coast.
Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure.
And I tell you what, you're gonna miss this weather.
But that much.
Or learn to appreciate it.
Oh no, you miss it a lot more than that.
Well, wintertime is going to be an experience, but
Well, summertime over there now. It's up.
I like it.
They got this big storm moving across this high pressure thing.
Where we at with time, my man?
But anyway,
Ready to
it's time for us to go. you're back now. And I saw you had to take a break, so you're back. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, we're out of here. And good luck, Lou.
For sure. Thank you.
We're going to try to
Absolutely.
hook something up and see what happens.
yeah.
Bi-coastal, we
Keep-
can do it.
Keep in touch, damn it.
Sure. For
You
sure.
know?
For sure. Yeah.
So anyway, this is the real Cliff Barnes, and I'd like to say, like I always say, if you like our show, tell everybody, share it, tell your friends. There might even be a way to subscribe. All of that. But if you didn't like it, keep it to yourself, wipe your mouth dry, and keep on moving.
That's it.
Wow. What does it all mean, Mr. Natural?
It don't mean shit. Anyway.